Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flick Show. My name is Chris Wong. Huge news came out today from Warner Brothers. This is the shakeup, as they're calling, or the restructuring that we've all anticipated in January. Now, the first of that restructuring was Walter Hamada from New Line Cinema is become the DC Films president, taking over John Berg and working aside Jeff Johns. Now even more. This is the one I've been looking forward to, because these were the execs, these are the heads that are hopefully about to roll. But this is what happened here. Chief Content Officer Toby Emmerich has been promoted to Warner Brothers Pictures Group Chairman, taking over CEO Kevin Tsujihara. So he is now overseeing worldwide theatrical production, marketing, and distribution for the studio. Kevin Tsujihara is still there, but has stepped away from day-to-day activities. Sue Crow, who was part of feature film marketing and distribution on a global scale. She was doing marketing campaigns for Wonder Woman, Justice League, all those, even Dunkirk. She has now stepped down to transition into a producing role on upcoming films. In her place is Blair Rich, who has been named President of Worldwide Marketing, while head of Warner Brothers Home Entertainment Ron Sanders will take on the role of President of Worldwide Distribution. So these two people are going to take Warner Brother Films, DC Films on a global level and scale. So if you thought that Wonder Woman and Justice League and those movies and Dunkirk had very weak on marketing, you can blame Sue Crow. So now that she's gone, there's these two other people who are going to take it to the next level, hopefully. And that is interesting, because if you all know, Toby Emmerich was originally from New Line Cinema as well. Remember last year where he came on afterward to be Chief Content Officer? Well, looks like there's a lot of New Line Cinema people now part of Warner Brothers, now taking over Warner Brothers in a way. This is what Kevin Tsujihara had to say, and I'd say spin. This is his spin, okay? This is part of his restructure as part of a strategy to strengthen Warner Brothers' competitiveness in the global film market, which is true. Tsujihara released a statement. All of our businesses, including film and home entertainment, continue to rapidly evolve based on consumer tastes and technology, and we need to constantly adapt our operations to stay ahead of these changes while preserving our creative excellence. Bringing together film and home entertainment marketing and distribution will allow us to strategically manage film titles through their entire life cycle. We'll be able to respond to consumer demand while still creating unique theatrical and home entertainment experiences, provide increased benefits to our filmmaking, exhibition, and retail partners. We're fortunate that we have a deep bench of highly talented executives to help us navigate these changes. Very, a lot of that political stuff. But basically, you failed. You failed on that front. And that's why you're no longer part of the day-to-day. Maybe you've got a contract. Maybe you're part of that stepping away. Maybe you're going to be going away when the AT&T Time Warner merger actually happens after it's decided in court. But this is the thing. Now that New Line is kind of taking over everything, and this is the only reason why I believe that they are, is because of it. It went on to make $698 million from a $35 million budget. Any studio, any company that can see you making magic out of a bucket of few dollars, you're hired. You're hired. While the exception of Kevin Tsujihara and his team, looking at Kevin Tsujihara and John Berg, sure, Lego that John Berg was part of, that was great, but it wasn't a huge success. And look at Justice League. Oh my, it's just barely breaking even at this point. So who are you going to hire? Who are you going to put in charge of the new Warner Brothers, new DC Films universe? New Line Cinema. That's so obvious. It's just a money thing, all right? So $35 million makes $698 million, and then you got a $300+ million movie with head reshoots and everything, and it's only made $650 million so far. Who are you gonna hire? You're gonna go New Line Cinema. Anybody would, and that's the main reason for this huge shakeup. And maybe they're blaming the Sue Crowells of the world, whereas like your marketing sucked. You know, it didn't tap in the market and all that. Kevin Tsujihara, I'm shocked that the board never even dumped him. You know, I'm shocked, but I'm glad they're taking him out of the day-to-day activity. It says, you know, we'll give you a little bit of credibility. We'll keep you on for the time being. Maybe after the merger you're gone, but you can collect a paycheck right now, but you're not involved. And I think that's good. That's great. That this man who said that a 2-hour cut must be in place so that it'll make more money, who is dead wrong, is stepping down from those day-to-day decisions. And that was one of those decisions, okay? But wasn't it Toby Emmerich also in that Variety magazine that he also wanted this Justice League to be released this year instead of delaying it to fix the movie just so that he can get his bonus as well? Wasn't that also Toby Emmerich? I mean, I like to put most of the faults on Kevin Tsujihara because he was being the head. He was doing everything. And Toby Emmerich was just a chief content officer. He was still answering to Kevin Tsujihara. So I wouldn't put the blame all on Toby, but in that article, I really remember him saying that Toby Emmerich was also the one that wanted to collect the paycheck. So what does that tell you, right? What does that tell you? I don't have complete faith in this new team, but I like where they're going. They're going for a team that makes money. They're going for a team that seems to be very good at making cinematic universes slowly, albeit. And for people who don't even realize it's a cinematic universe, yes, Conjuring is a cinematic universe right now. They're able to utilize low budgets. They seem to let the directors make their movies. So I'm looking forward to what they have in place, but I'm a little apprehensive in still having Kevin Tsujihara and Toby Emmerich still part of the decision making. Even David Goyer, who still has a lot of faith in his Green Lantern Corp projects, he's saying it's still in the works. But yet even he says this: I don't know. Who knows, especially with what's currently going on with the DC Universe. There's obviously a whole recalibration happening with that right now. So even Green Lantern Corp could still be up in the air. Even though he's still working on it, they haven't told him to stop yet. They haven't told any other, as far as we know, haven't told anything to stop yet, and they're still continuing to going on with Suicide Squad 2 and the other movies that are past Wonder Woman 2, even Wonder Woman 2. So we have to see. I'm apprehensive. I have hope and faith in DC Films universe because it's beautiful. Because DCEU, DC Films Universe, DC Films, DCU, whatever you want to call it, there's so much potential in there. It has made money, and it's way better than the Dark Universe. Okay, it has gone there. There's a lot of fans out there. There's a lot of audience who still like the film. And they have to bring it back. They have to bring it back into popularity past the 650 million that Justice League has made. And so anything that changes for the better is good. And so I'm really hopeful for the DC Films universe, and I'm really hoping that this comes out good and they finally have a team in place that are very supportive of their directors, and they allow the directors to flow, to let them do what they need to do to make a better film. But there is a movie that we definitely know that is coming out, and that is the Justice League Blu-ray DVD. Apparently Target released the picture of their exclusive Blu-ray cover, and it's the excellent Alex Ross inspired picture. And not just the 5 team members, I'm talking about Superman is in this, and that is the one that should have been on the posters from the get-go, showing that Superman's part of the movie. In hindsight now, I'm thinking if Superman was part of the marketing, this movie would have done better. But this is the one that I really wanted to see on a Blu-ray cover. I know we had so many different covers. I like the one with the silhouette of Superman and about hope, but this is the one that I really dig, and it was one of my favorite promotional art of Justice League with Superman involved. So I'm really glad to see that. But as you know, it doesn't have any sign of an extended edition, no Ultimate Edition, and we all kind of know that by now, that they're trying to double dip, possibly trying to double dip this thing. So the first one will come out as the original theatrical release, but in Blu-ray form, digital form, and then possibly there may be an extended limited edition that we have not seen yet, if they're just starting to release the Blu-ray cover of the theatrical release. So there could be another edition there. We won't know until later on. But what's interesting is that a stunt double has a little bit confirmed that there is a Zack Snyder cut. This stunt double, named of Richard Citrone, who was Ben Affleck's Batman stunt double. He also worked on on every DC film since Man of Steel, so you can tell he's part of that studio thing. But he says to a fan, he says, "Please pass along to your group my thanks for their passion in supporting Zack. Tell them I know for a fact that Zack Snyder cut does exist, and with the help of people like you and your group, we can hopefully persuade Warner Brothers to release it. Thanks again." Now, that is very interesting to have him come out and say there's a cut. We've also known that even Zack Snyder's own son kind of said there was more to that. There was his father's cut in there. Zack Snyder even liked the petition for Zack Snyder cut. And there's a lot of people out there trying to dissuade you and say there is no Zack Snyder cut, you're crazy, things like that. But get this now. But the thing with that, okay, is that you have to understand that there is a Zack Snyder cut. There has to be a Zack Snyder cut. There's even a Zack Snyder's cut that was released in that Variety report from before. There is a cut. There is a cut that's entirely made by Zack Snyder. You see parts of it in the trailer. Now, this is no fable, nothing like that. There has been a cut. There has to be. Why? Because Warner Brothers looked at that and said we had to reshoot it with Joss Whedon. Now, before, I've always said that, you know, Zack Snyder had Joss Whedon. No, don't worry, he approved Joss Whedon to come in and do the shoots. But you know from that Variety report that's not true. And we all see it now. We all see it now that John Berg and Jeff Johns brought Joss Whedon in on the promise of making Batgirl to create, retool, change up what Zack Snyder originally had envisioned, his tone, his color corrections, everything, into something else entirely, in which we saw in the theatrical release, which I really enjoyed. Different parts of the film industry, okay, have said that color correction, and quote me if I'm wrong, put it in the comments if I'm wrong, and if you have somebody else who was in film think differently, that most of the color grading, color correction is done after everything has been shot. You are in post-production. You are ready to go. Okay? So if that's the case, then all of that was ready to go. There was a Zack Snyder cut that was ready to go, that was shown to the board, that was shown to test audiences, and they decided to change it. They decided to change it. So, for argument's sake, there is a Zack Snyder cut. But there may not be a ready Zack Snyder cut to be released to the public. And will they release it to the public, knowing full well that maybe this Snyder cut is a different vision and tone to what they intend for the DC Extended Universe from now, if they don't plan to reboot it? And the vision that is out in theaters right now, or is about to be in Blu-ray release, is the vision that this Warner Brothers wants to see. There's a couple ways that Zack Snyder could be released. One, They already budgeted for it, and they already planned it ahead of release. They want to double or triple dip this movie to get more money, and they've already done their due diligence. That maybe they just had to add in some cyborg armor, things like that, but they've done most of that stuff. And then 2, despite a differing in vision and tone for that, Walter Hamada and his new team with Jeff Johns and having James Wan, Dave F. Sandberg, and having Patty Jenkins along, that the vision of the overall DC Extended Universe is going away from the ones that are from the theatrical, and they want to fix that in a way to maybe muddy it a little bit to another new direction. So those are the 2 main reasons. Since Zack Snyder is still a producer of Wonder Woman 2, he could still be involved in some way at a producer level. So we don't know for sure what's going on with that. But there is a Zack Snyder cut. Is it ready for release? That's another story. That's a different story. That's a different type of Snyder cut, if you want to say what exists or not. It doesn't exist right now in front of the fans, in front of the audience, in collectively in our hands. It doesn't exist, fine, but it exists in some medium, or else we would never have gotten Joss Whedon involved in the first place. So that's that, and that also came from Variety from report from a while back. And that's the one I said that I totally was wrong about what was going on at Warner Brothers. I trusted them, and now Kevin Tsujihara and Toby Emmerich and all these execs totally killed the thing. But at least Justice League is doing well in other countries, and particularly well in Brazil. It actually brought in $133.6 million, beating Fate of the Furious was at $133.4 million. So at least Brazil loves the movie. A lot of other countries as well. It's just unfortunately the domestic numbers didn't add to it, and so now it's going to be coming under 670, probably ending under $670 million worldwide. So on to digital, on to Blu-ray, and on to the rest of the DC Films universe, DC Cinematic Universe, DC Extended Universe, whatever you want to call it. I wish it the best of luck, and I hope for the best. Alright guys, what did you guys think of these massive Warner Brothers news today? Are you in with the new team? Are you disappointed at the shakeup? So thank you so much guys for subscribing. Thank you so much guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.